What's going on, guys? You know who it is. It's your boy Aaron, aka Turtle the Ascended.
Turtle.
And we on another episode of that epic technical talk this.
Bark.
Oh
Bark,
yeah.
bark.
Dogs. But technicians, come through, introduce yourself real quick.
It's your boy Raha. It's your boy Dirty Dan, aka Sleek Neek, aka Freak Deek Neek. Your boy Raha.
Nasty.
Hey, it's your boy. Make your girl's knees weak. It's AKA make her swim through the ocean. AKA her pussy wet as the ocean. AKA don't look at your girl's DMs because you might see your boy name in there. It's your boy Buster Banger, big boy.
Big the boy.
I don't really know how to follow up after all that, but you know, it's your boy Shadow Falls, aka I don't know. No, I'm
It's
not
your
really
boy,
too
aka Last Technical Talk was basically his technical talk.
Facts. Basically, it was my technical talk. AKA Last Technical Talk was just mine. Hold that,
Yes, sir.
Bark. More barks. Alright. So, today's technical topic, this is episode number 12. You know what I'm saying? And this episode is going to be centered around competitive gaming. Competitive gaming. But if you're at the title, you'd know that. But some people can't read, so.
Well, you know.
Nasty, not real.
We don't judge here.
I might.
Facts.
I might not tell you that I judged, but I might.
Yeah, we judge. We just don't say nothing.
Facts. But this was kind of prompted by something I saw on Twitter. For the most part, people were talking about old gen and new gen players and competing and getting better and things like that. So I was like, let's talk about some competitive gaming aspects. That sounds like a fun topic. And
gaming aspects. It's gonna be an interesting topic.
Yeah, for those y'all that are in the dark, still living under a rock. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, whatever. So we'll start kind of light. Do my fellow technicians here? Do you guys have a favorite pro player of anything?
I used to, till they let me down.
Nasty.
I feel like that is the Smash community in a nutshell, but that's a topic for another day.
Oh,
boy, that's a heavy one.
I guess technically, right now, it's Smug.
I know you're gonna say Smug. You got to.
But the thing is, I enjoyed TSM, League of Legends, professional play.
Ooh.
I enjoyed Bjergsen the most. But, you know, brother retired and the whole team is kind of in the shitter, so I don't really care about him no more.
Oh, nice. Hey, he's coaching.
Yeah.
He's coaching TSM.
His coaches have had a good reputation on TSM. We get a new coach every year.
Well.
Nasty.
So, Raha?
Let's see. Actually, pro player wise, not necessarily. I just watch a little bit. I mean, I see some league games, some Tekken games. Past that, I really don't watch too much of anything else. But I don't have anybody that I just love off the top of my head. But I mean, I know a few players. For sure.
You don't have a person you particularly enjoy watching?
I don't actually. In all honesty, that's strange, but I don't.
Nasty.
I just like watching the game itself.
I thought you would have said something like a little Majin or something.
He's cool to watch, but I don't like. He's not my favorite.
I feel you.
He is pretty cool to watch. I ain't gonna lie to you know.
Yes.
What about you, Age?
Man, I can't really say I have a favorite player anymore. Back in Smash 4 days, I had people that I looked up to that played like my character. Not, I wouldn't say look up to. Look up to is the wrong word, but
More like look up.
That I would watch for like just trying to get better with the character. But
Same.
not really much anymore. I don't really have a favorite player. Some players I like, I guess I'll just name those off. I like CBM, Cherry Berry Mango.
Hey.
Great name. It's delicious.
Otherwise, I wouldn't say there's a whole. No, it's really just him that I follow.
Just a boy CBM?
Just CBM. Street Fighter. I don't have anyone that I care about.
Not even
at all.
Smug?
I don't watch his content, so no.
Dang.
So I mean, I'm sure he's cool. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure he's cool. But no, not really.
You should. He's got. I don't know what it is. Well, I guess it's Smug's neutral game, but he makes high level play look easy.
He does have.
Although he
doesn't neutral game.
Neutral. Yeah. Like he plays most, as you know, he mostly plays Street Fighter 5, and he makes it look so simple, just so easy. Like you can watch other streamers and pro players, professional Street Fighter players, and they don't make it look as easy as Smug does, because it's almost, he's goofing off half the time.
Oh yeah, he went that. Hey, check this out. I'm a command grab. Got him.
He's acting like he won't get command grabbed.
Just hit him all the combos, man. Smug is still pretty cool. But for me, he got replaced recently.
Oh no, he didn't. No. What happened?
I started watching Punk.
You know, I watch Punk too.
Punk to me is just so hilarious when he's talking, because he'll go from respect to talking trash in like no time flat. He'll be like, "Oh, that was a good anti-air. That was sick. Or he lands on something whack. He's like, "What? Like what in the world?" And then just watching that ninja play footsies was the funniest thing I've ever seen. And they said, "Ain't nobody got better neutral than me. Gets freed up by blocker." Man, that game, that I gotta get that game too. I might have to get that and stream that myself. See if I can be a mini Justin Wong and first try that arcade mode, because dang near impossible. All right. So since we didn't seem to have too much in the competitive player department, what say your favorite game to watch competitively?
Ooh,
League of Legends.
might be Tekken for me. It might just be Tekken.
Why?
Jake, you can go first.
For me, it's just that nothing else really interests me. Nothing that I watch competitively really interests me. Only like like right up there with like as far as watching, like watch value, right? Because there's certain professional games that are played that aren't fun to watch, like just overall. Right up there with League of Legends is probably like Apex Legends Pro Play.
Apex?
Watching them. Oh yeah, Apex Legends Pro Play. You ever seen it?
Heck no.
Oh my god, folk doing whole combos in that mug with their characters, and they styling on folk, and somehow the other team has a whole other team combo that they hitting each other with. Like, it's crazy. It's like competitive shooters meets like team play, like League of Legends. But League of Legends is fun to watch for me. It's just because it's the stories of what the players are and what they went through and how well they perform solo, but then as a team. That's just fun for me. Like a whole wombo combos that only this person can hit folk with, or this person has a secret pick in their back pocket that low key wins an entire team fight. Like, it's just crazy to me. Not to say that, you know, if you go look at fighting game professionally, and it's not like they don't have like secret picks that they've been working on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Somebody hovers a certain character, like, what? He's not about to play this character.
Yeah.
He said this character was trash.
But it's just more impactful for me to watch a team play professionally than just one person.
I feel you.
So that's how that is.
H.
Let's see. I guess Tekken. The reason why I like to watch it so much, it's more or less just the interesting things that you see the pro players do that you just don't usually see when they streaming. Sometimes, like sometimes they just be looking like they just come up with a combo out their ass to win, or you could just see the different state, how they pressure differently. It seemed like on the not stream, but in a tournament versus just online, it just looks different to me, and I just like watching it. It's just very, I guess you could say, eye pleasing.
There you go.
Essentially.
Alright. Honestly, I kind of favor. I like watching League quite a bit too. Every now and then. It's not like an all the time thing, but I do like watching League. But if you were to go to my YouTube and see what I've been spectating the most, it's gonna be technically it's probably gonna be Street Fighter, just because I watch Punk a lot. I do actually enjoy watching people get out neutral and whiff punished and stuff like that. That's pretty satisfying. But probably the thing I like to watch the most is actually Dragon Ball Fighters. I actually really enjoy watching the teams when they're different, especially even if it's just like one odd man out character, like somebody pulls out Krillin, I'm like, oh, sick, let's go. Or you just have the rare instance of just two completely different teams with one team or one player having a character that nobody else uses, and then just starts doing some crazy nonsense. And then if everybody else is using that same character, you be able to like instantly tell who really brought the character to life because they do something crazy. Like the other day I watched this, I think he's a French player, Wawa, and he did a solo touch of death with base Goku, and it was like crazy. And he was like the originator, like the guy who really made people see base Goku strong. And I thought that's just neat.
What's the touch of death?
You get killed in one touch.
Oh.
That means if I touch you, you die. if I get the right
Wait,
combos.
so you can one-shot folk in that game?
Well, not one shot, but like if I get the right opener, then I can kill you.
Oh, you talking about like it was literally like an infinite combo?
Well, not infinite. It just killed me. Like it does enough damage.
Oh,
Like I think we actually I think we talked about it in the first technical topic, where it's not necessarily like infinite combos anymore. It's you're just gonna die. Yeah,
that sounds pretty fun.
but it requires specific like teams or characters or sparking, which same thing as X Factor and Marvel, boost your damage and stuff. And it's base Goku. He hurts really badly when he's by himself. So, but yeah, I like fighters.
For me, my most favorite, the one that I've watched the most,
Splatoon.
even though I was a Smash player, was actually Dragon Ball Fighters.
Oh, I was way off. I thought you were gonna say Splatoon for like Super.
Splatoon? No. I haven't. I did used to follow a pro player, but no, I did. I used to follow him, and I watched him for a very, very long time. But then Splatoon Online pissed me off, so there you go. DC'd 1,000 too many times. But no, it was. I would actually say Dragon Ball Fighters because, like, kind of the same reason, but it was just the storylines in there, like just between the players, like Goichi versus Sonic Fox. Seeing if the Kill Sage was going to be able to make it into top 8 instead of just like always getting out right before top 8.
Bro!
To see if Chris G was going to do anything.
Bro! Facts!
Oh, and then you want to talk about a game that I watched professionally even more than Dragon Ball Fighters. It's Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. I watched that game so much. Just because I was super excited. I had someone in my hometown who plays my same team, who's like way better than me.
Dang.
He's actually still playing it to this day. Man, I just realized, like, out of the modern games, there's nothing I haven't watched more than like some of the stuff that came out like right before these games. Like Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Even though I didn't play the game at the time, it was just, bro, like, you can't not watch that game. It's just a spectacle to watch. Like, just especially when you have like the freaking like the character masters going up, and that's seeing what people can do with their team. Like, you want to talk about a game where you can tell who's just playing the team and who actually plays that team. Marvel vs. Capcom 3 for sure. And then I watched BB Tag a lot too because I was playing that game competitively. So,
of course.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's not.
You know he's playing it competitively?
Mm-mm.
Oh yeah. JJ was playing that mug super hard. I would beat you on my freaking PS4 and have the blue out of death. I would still be.
Yeah, man. We had the Evo champ of, was it last year? Evo champ of last year came from the same practice place that I used to go to.
Oh, nice, dude.
Who was it? Wasn't it a? It wasn't a Gorby player, was it?
No, he plays Ruby Yang. Yeah. He plays Ruby Yang, and he went up against. Oh, I forget his name, but it's Akihiko. What did he play?
Really?
It was Akihiko Mitsuru Akihiko. Yeah.
Nasty. I expected I think it's Koji Kog who plays grapplers.
Yeah, Koji Kog got up there, but I mean, he plays grapplers, and niggas can kind of get shit on. So,
when Ruby's on the
nature of
screen,
grapplers.
heck yes. We got them normals.
There's a lot of people that can get by by what grappling's got to do. So
Yeah, I would be super down to get that game again on PC because it is super fun.
hey man, Parsec basically get rollback netcode.
Nah, that's
Okay, so let's get I guess a little bit deeper into the topic.
We got to.
No, but it might be boring if we don't. Maybe.
What happened? What'd he say?
He said, "Do we got to?"
We don't got to, but I got to. You feel me? But,
who mama we talking about this time?
whoa!
Whoa! I didn't bring nobody's mama into this. Hold on, man.
That's a police siren comment. That's a woo. Hang on, brother. This is a kind sharing server.
Not a Christian Minecraft server.
We don't,
bro. If you say that this is kind, all we got to do is go back to the Tekken talk where I was over here arguing with our guests.
Yeah. Yeah, bananas and cheese.
Not to mention the live stream.
Bananas and cheese. Yeah, that's what I always say. But okay, so let's talk about. We'll focus on the fighting game scene as far as competitive gaming goes, because that's really
that would be a real ridiculously broad topic.
There's not a whole lot of at least as far as to my knowledge. Well, there is a decent bit of shooting. You know what? Let's start with shooting. What do y'all think? What are your thoughts on competitive Fortnite?
Boring as fuck.
Hey,
That's a competitive scene?
yes, it is.
Oh yeah, it's a huge competitive scene.
I mean,
yeah, that mug is it's boring. It's a bunch of people just kind of like doing their best to camp until like the last couple rings.
Really, that's why.
So how is it? Like, give me a rundown of it. Like,
It's basically
it's just
Fortnite,
except you're playing
with
for
teams.
money. With teams, like you normally would. Just it's a BR tournament.
oh, okay. Well, I don't personally like it in general, so I mean, I guess I couldn't really see myself just hard going crazy over it. But I mean, Fortnite in general is just it's just a shooter, so it depends on what type of audience you would want to. I mean, I feel like you won't even really learn too much in it just by watching them, in all honesty. But
I mean, you'll learn that people can build whole castles in like 2 seconds.
I hate, bro. I know we're talking about competitive, but bro, I can't freaking stand Fortnite. Like, I came from the place of third-person shooters, and I enjoyed them a lot. But boy, watching Fortnite makes my knees itch. Like I can't explain to you how stupid it is to literally be in a gunfight and somebody build a whole IKEA in front of you.
Not an IKEA.
Like you literally one bullet, and now you got to shoot through 15 feet of walls. Like, bro, come on now. And then they just rebuild them, bro. Like that's the weakest thing in the world.
Nah, bruh. When I seen that, I played a game of Fortnite and did that same thing. Like I was shooting at somebody that said whole lookout tower. I was like, what the? Like,
He said a whole lookout tower.
I'm not playing this game no
for
more.
Real. And then you run up on them because then you got to build up to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you got to build up to them, and then you shoot the wall down, then make another wall, shoot the wall down, make another wall, then run to the side. You shoot that wall, and then they edit it to make a hole in the wall, and then shoot you through the hole. I'm like, brother,
Well, you doing so much work, fam.
Competitive wise, like how would that like
be
I
fun?
guess
I don't know.
It's
I
just
guess I
the
don't
same crap.
watch. Yeah, I guess I don't watch it enough, or even just watch it in general to understand like the purpose of it being really competitive. I guess like it's almost just like most first-person shooters in general. Like I know those are just team-based games where you're just trying to kill the other team,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess you could say get a spot. But the closest thing that will make more sense will be Overwatch, if anything, which have more strategy to it versus you kind of just holding down the spot with like a certain pistol or a certain rifle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Overwatch is pretty fun to watch.
Got him.
Yeah, Fortnite is
Dookie.
and segueing kind of sorta into a semi-new topic, like just competitive BRs in general are kind of weird.
Gotcha.
Like I think they're weird because it's just like, do you really have to be good, or can you just like shift around everything and then sneak people?
I think you do have to be good. Like, you still need to have really good aiming. Like, there's some. If you ever come across like watching a pro player in a BR, oh, I guess not even specifically a BR. You can watch any type of shooter that will eventually have a BR, like Call of Duty, and they still be hitting some crazy shots. Like, they still gotta have good aim. Like, they do like certain tech where they like shoot a gun, switch to the next gun, shoot that gun, because it's quicker to switch between guns instead of just like, there's certain tech and stuff to it to make them like more efficient. So I still think you still need a decent amount of aim and skill.
Gotcha.
Here's the question though: is it like, well, like a lot of, obviously since it's a shooter, your primary emphasis is on aiming, but
Right.
when I play a BR, I personally don't feel like I have to work as hard to aim as the other person, as long as I have stuff like good positioning or the ability to sneak up on people. So some people would say that the fact that it's just not a straight up gunfight is unskillful, right? Like I know quite a few people stop playing Fortnite. Like, it's usually the same story, right? It's, oh, I ran up on somebody, this dude built a whole island with a moat and a dragon behind it and just shot me down. And then I was just like, oh no, I'm not playing this game no more. That's the end of their Fortnite days.
Yeah.
Like something like Apex, I can kind of understand more of. But I guess what I'm saying is, like, people will hate a lot of them, I guess, because it's not primarily about the aiming, even though it's a shooting game. Like, aiming is still important. True. But I don't necessarily have to be better than you at shooting the gun. I can just sneak you or use a character that has an ability that to just make the fact that you are better than me at shooting against you.
Yeah.
Well, there is like a. I hate to say this because I just hate the game in general, but there is skill in Fortnite to building proficiently. Like, there is. It's you still need a good shot and you still need to be skilled at shooting, but majority of the time, the person who can, I forgot the specific names they have for it, like. For making, I guess it was like making and editing in that game, or if you can create faster than the person that you're doing a gunfight in, you can most likely get the drop on them first to kill them.
Gotcha.
But the thing is, you have to. So there is skill to building in that game, and that's gonna be the majority of what kind of wins most of the equal skill level fights. But yeah, it's the issue is that it still just devolves from you shooting walls for about 5 minutes. Like, so I guess there is more skill in Fortnite than compared to like Apex, where it's really just how well they can use their characters' abilities and how well they can rotate and how well they can aim down sights or gun skill. You know what I'm saying?
And in games like that, even in Valorant too. Like I think I've heard this, but there's a lot of folks that have played Valorant, and we all know it's basically CS:GO, right? But you have characters with abilities and stuff, right? So a lot of people, I've heard a few of my friends say that they would rather just play CS:GO and not have to deal with characters having certain abilities, and at some point you run into the issue of, well, this character's ability is so good that you gotta have this character or this character to counter the best character and stuff like that. So, but I get that's, to me, it creates like a meta game. You know, that's where meta develops.
Meta picks and stuff.
Yeah, like you know what? Let's talk about meta. Let's talk about meta. You know, what I'm saying?
I feel like I got a lot to say on this, especially in the fighting game world. Meta.
Oh yeah, fighting games meta is crazy, man. So let's talk about meta. Like I think we pretty much already defined it, but what is meta to you guys from your personal definition or your understanding? Because there's a lot of people that have different definitions, I guess, or there's people that don't really understand what the meta game is or how it's made and why tier lists and stuff like that are important, right? Because like one thing I get so irritated at is when top players will tell people who are trying to be competitive to just play who you like, tier lists don't matter, or they only matter at the highest level. But my issue with that is, well, if they only matter at the highest level and I'm trying to get to the high level, why tell me they don't matter? Because I don't want to be wasting my time playing a character that's obviously like bottom 3, then get to a high level and get hard walled because my character sucks.
Facts.
You know, so what y'all think? What y'all think about metagame? What's metagame to y'all?
AJ, you can start it off.
So I guess metagame, like, what is it? Is that what you said? Like, what is meta?
Break it down.
Like your definition.
Meta is, I mean, for me, it's just any time that either a certain way of playing or a certain character is stronger for any particular reason, like consistently. So did we say we were keeping this to fighting games, or we were?
You can keep it. It's universal, really.
Okay. All right, cool. Because I'm gonna bring up Overwatch. So meta, like meta in that game. Okay, so because I think this is the easiest way to explain it. Overwatch, even though it has all these different heroes and all that, its meta basically comes down to what is the strongest play style that offers the least amount of counterplay. So we have the infamous GOATS comp, which was basically 3 tanks, 3 supports. And the reason why it was meta is because even with traditional teams that would, that run 2-2-2, it could still beat them consistently, and it just worked. Like, it just worked all the time. It didn't matter what map. It didn't matter what It didn't matter what mode. And then you could just alter it by changing usually like one champion. And it would still be like, GOATS, but with Mei, or GOATS, but with Reaper, or GOATS, but with
insert
freaking character here. And so that to me, that was like the clearest definition of meta. And then when it comes to fighting games, meta is just pretty much, character. It's just based on character, what they got and what other people have. If you think meta doesn't exist, look at Gigas and then look at Kazumi, and then tell me meta doesn't exist.
Boy, let me tell you about that hand chop.
Down 4-1.
Let me tell you about Kazumi's down 4-1 and how it's better than Gigas' entire moveset.
Facts, bro. Like super facts. Yeah, meta. That's pretty solid right there.
Yeah,
like that pretty much hits the nail on the head for the most part, right?
Yeah,
that's metagame. Metagame is literally developed around whatever is the strongest, right? If this character is the strongest, then you size up everybody else to this character. This character has all this.
Right.
What other character has these 2 or 3 moves, or this same kind of play style, or this kind of spacing, or if you talk like, I guess Rocket League, maybe car parts, or if you talk Overwatch, if like we'll say Genji, masterful flanker, who else can just get behind enemy lines like that?
Right.
Or we talk like Call of Duty, this one gun is just clearly OP.
Call of Duty,
what can duel this gun? What gun is gonna let me kill you first? Or even Destiny.
I just want to say, bro. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's the same thing. Like Destiny, like several guns have been nerfed because they were too strong. Destiny 1, the Vex Mytha class was so absurdly broken. Bro. And it had to get nerfed. It was too strong, it was too good. Freaking Thorn had to get nerfed.
Oh my god. And if you just didn't have it, GG's, Playboy.
Thor was a 2-shot to the head and you dead.
Oh man. Metas in shooters are brutal. I can't stress that enough.
That's actually
metas in shooters are just that gun's better than the gun that you're using right now. That's what meta is in freaking shooters. So if you're sitting over here, you're hitting, and mostly in pro play, it's like there's still the gun skill cap, right? Like, so there's gonna be people with better aim than others. But if that person just 2-taps you in the head, and you 2-tap them in the head, they got the meta gun. So you're dead and they're not. That's what that is. That's so stupid.
Yeah, it is. It's because it's just stats.
It really is.
Now you have Valorant. Like Valorant, there's ability skill. There's so much. Like, even though I don't. Before the game came out, I never really had any intention of playing Valorant. The only thing that kept my interest was that it had abilities like Overwatch. That's the reason why I enjoy Overwatch so much, is because I play it more for the abilities than for the shooting aspect. And so, but what I was able to, at least in Valorant, respect was, these niggas not only got aim, but their communication, their freaking, the way they clear rooms. I'm like, this is OD shit. Y'all might as well be SWAT to me. Like, then you take that to you take something like, Call of Duty, like freaking Apex, stuff like that, where it's just like, look, bro, I just got the better gun. Like, there ain't shit you can do about it.
Thanks.
It don't matter how good your aim is. If I 2-tap you 2-tap. It's like Take said, man. If I 2-tap, you 2-tap, and I have the better, and my gun just does more damage. Like, that's it. Like, GG.
That's it, no?
There's no expression of skill there.
Yeah, everybody knows that. What is it called? The Wingman. The Wingman got nerfed. Multiple times.
A lot of that stuff is just freaking whatchamacallit. That stuff is just legendary weapons now. Like Peacekeeper. That's just something that's a gold weapon now. You got to find that in the world.
Oh, that's crazy. That gun was absurdly broken, bro. The range for a shotgun became a mean mini rail gun real quick.
It's
That's just how crazy.
Now I wanna say this. If we're talking about meta, right? Just to expand on meta, because I think, and for me at least, in certain games, it means, for the most part, what y'all were saying, but it also is more on the lines of this character is good, but the fact that they have the answers to a lot of the issues that a lot of other folk are going through, and they don't have the answers to those situations, is the reason that they're meta. Like, it's not the fact that they're just powerful, it's the fact that they don't have to struggle in most areas like other characters in their field do. And I'm talking more specifically on League, because there's characters on League of Legends. I know we bring up League of Legends, but we play League of Legends. There's characters on League of Legends that are strong because they have answers to almost every situation they're in, and that doesn't mean that they're just absurdly broken. It's just that they're good for almost everything, and they have obvious counters to them. Like, the meta will always have and fluctuate with different champions. Meta mid might be freaking, I don't know, Orianna full tank or what, I don't know, whatever it is, or whatever Riot's stupid decision decides to be that season. Right? Whatever that is, but they'll still have counters to those champions. Like, Darius the kings of top lane, they're the kings of top lane, but they still have counters. And although they can still kind of play around those counters, you can still counter them. Not to say that the counters are as powerful as the champions, it's just that their setup is specifically made to make sure that they don't get what they need to get done.
With them niche picks, right?
And
that's kind of how when it comes to game balancing, which we'll come back to in a bit, because that's a pretty strong one too. When it comes to, I guess, counter picking somebody, a lot of people, now this is one thing I will actually agree with, a lot of pro players will tell you should just stick with your character and learn the matchup, because a lot of times, especially, you might have trouble with all of 1 or 2 bad matchups. So what's the point of learning a whole nother character for 1 or 2 bad matchups? You know, like, it's not necessary, unless the meta has called for your one counter pick to be played like frequently, right? Like, metagame, because metagame doesn't just change at a pro level. Like, the pros may have a different, like when we talk about League of Legends, you said the pros have a different metagame, right? Like, we have champions like Yone or Fizz that are like S tier broken mid laners, but we barely saw them at all at War. Yeah, we didn't see him at Worlds, but we saw picks like Orianna, we saw picks like Syndra, we saw picks like TF, like Zir, all these champions that you pretty much will never see in casual play, or at least not even in ranked, because they're so weak. But because within the pros, the stuff that they have is valued different, right? So, like,
it's team oriented.
Difference between having, like, you have pro metagame, you have an online specifically metagame, which obviously League is already online, but I mean, like, just between individual, like solo queue metagame, you and your friends metagame, and even if we go to like fighting games and stuff like that, there's a different metagame there too, and the same stretch between that, right? So, like, even, what's a good example? Guilty Gear Revelator, the best character in the game for quite a bit was Johnny. But Johnny was and is an insanely difficult character to play. He wasn't a pick up and play character. Like, you had to grind to get good with that character, to be as broken as he was. We could say Virtua Fighter, Akira, infamously one of the hardest characters in fighting game history, period. Right? Akira is mad. He's like dang near all one frame moves to get his max damage, his punishes and things like that. Right? Like, these characters are the best, or were the best, but they're so difficult still to learn them. And sometimes meta changes in pro play, especially because of that, because they say, well, like in Tekken, people view Mishima as like too hard to use consistently, so they put them. I know it. Like, they say these characters are too hard, so these other characters are better, and that's when we reach those type of impasses where you have a character like Akuma, who is consistently still like S tier or the best in the game, but Mishimas are apparently too low because they're too difficult. Right. So you get that imbalance between word of like top players and things like that. You know.
But a panda can come up and Evo and win it all.
Facts. Oh man, Panda can be good if they go up against this character. They have a good matchup against this top tier.
Hey yo,
sounds like a get good. But
look, bro, don't let them hit you with the. Well, you know, if this character gets going.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, I hear that statement a lot with Akuma.
Facts. Like, super
I don't understand. Oh man,
bro, I used to hear that.
Going,
I used to hear that about a lot of my characters, specifically in Smash, man.
Boy, Roy
in Smash 4. Everyone, people were talking about he's one of like the worst characters in the game. This, that, and the third.
But if he gets that combo going,
and then we had somebody, and then of course, you got that one specialist who actually shows like, let me show you what this character really does.
Facts.
And then all of a sudden, you start seeing around. Yeah, he's weak, but if he starts getting those nairs going, if he does this, if he does that, I'm like, boy,
he sound pretty good,
right? He sounds pretty. Telling me he hit one move and all of a sudden you can't stop. That sounds pretty good to me.
Oh, mega facts. Like super mega facts. You got anything on this H? What you got, man? Talk about some metagame, fam.
I mean, y'all pretty much saying what all I would say. I mean, shoot, I can't really, like you said, I mean, it is just a different meta between the pros and us, and that's why that's when it comes into the nerfs and buffs to specific characters when you start talking about metagame, because the pro player values certain picks better. So characters like, you could say TF or like Jin or somebody will get nerfed due to someone overvaluing the pick and it helping them out in the tournament versus like someone who really needs that buff. But yeah, man, that's pretty much all it is. It's can you get a lot for a little execution with any character or any game? Like that's boiled down to it.
That's a whole thing entirely. Freaking low risk, high rewards type stuff.
Now, here's a good question before we rotate to another subtopic.
What's the good question?
Do y'all think that?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Moving on.
Do y'all think that a lot of the issues of quote unquote OP characters could be solved by actually trying one of the low tier counterpick matchups?
Wait,
I'd say
Question.
Yeah,
Let me try to word it a little bit differently. So most people, when they make a tier list, or not tier list, a matchup chart, especially pros, they might tell you that this one random low or bottom tier character is capable of absolutely destroying their top tier character, and that the reason, and that one or two low or bottom tier characters may be the reason that this top guy says my character is not that good because these low tiers stop him, right? But people don't listen, and then that character ends up getting nerfed anyway because they're strong against everybody else. So do you think the issue of OP characters would be solved if people just started taking the plunge and trying to use these characters that people actually say counter their character
in League? Oh yeah, that's
just
all
in general.
Oh, in general? Well,
Man,
like because normally these counter picks are just super weak. Like they might be super low tier weak characters, right? Like in League, we'll say like Scion is not really known to be too strong, but in certain matchups he can really just stomp somebody, right? Or Cho'Gath is not somebody you really see a whole, well, we don't see a whole lot of them, but when you do see him, he might, and he counters to somebody, he'll pretty much run you over, like pretty easily, right? Like these characters that are,
except for this one Cho'Gath, like,
yeah,
that boy was pussy for real. I have never seen a full tank pussy. Never heard of it.
Dang, that's childish.
I mean, I was Trendamere, so I guess. It makes sense. I have a don't die button, so I mean, fair enough.
Got him. But yeah, even in Tekken, right? Xiao Yu is extremely good against Akuma, but we don't see any Xiao Yus, right? So it gets by that Akuma is just broken, but we also don't see any of his counter picks played against him. Right. Like, actually, and there's another instance. Nee was playing Lily against Kudan's Devil Jin in order to gain access to the best sidestep in the game, and he was consistently stepping out of the way of Devil Jin's wave dash options, which was crazy. It was actually only because it was Lily. So, like, do you think more players should think like that or try stuff like that?
Man, in all honesty, you're not wrong. I would say yes, but I think it's a lot on the line to do that. I feel like the reason why they don't do it is because they don't want to take that chance with that character, because I feel like it's I guess you could say a double-edged sword, because even though they have a couple of moves that can counter that person, regardless, if two people on the same level and I'm playing a worse character than you, most of the times I'm going to lose. Like, just because that character's options, or in any game, just like League, Tekken, or even like Overwatch, that character's options are not going to be able to be significant enough to stop me if you have the same competent mind as myself, because you can still find ways to outplay that person, even if that character is your counter pick. But if the character's just that low on the tier list, it's just still not going to work always. Because, like, even if, I think what was one of the things, Panda have long limbs, so they could just knock Kuma out the air. But even as you being a Panda player, I mean, the Kuma can still mix your stupid ass up. So, like, what's the point of me being able to knock you out the air that's significant enough for me to play a Panda or a Kuma to just get mixed up still, regardless if I don't know how to play that character really well.
Brother ain't told a lie.
And I feel that's why they don't choose to use those low tier counter picks, is just because they don't know how to play them to that level. So they lie. Well, I can't say lie. They say that to us to be like, oh, you might just be that niche Lily player that can sidestep the devil gen shit. But the other characters, you just gonna get your ass ran through. Stuff like that. That's how I feel. So, I mean, technically it's a lie. I mean, they not gonna really play it, but they'll tell us to play it. It'd be like, that shit fire, fam. Just keep playing them.
It's like playing that one awkward build on League.
Facts. Man, this shit gonna win you every game, bro. Just do it like this and
My
squint your
favorite
eye just a
YouTuber
little
said,
bit.
What's it they say? This new secret broken rune choice is gonna carry you to platinum and diamond.
Man,
Bro, the
Facts.
clickbait in them videos.
new
broken build.
actually makes you 1v9.
And you know what I
Right.
love, bro? You know what I love with that? I love the freaking the picture of the chat, and the chat is just like, you can't kill this dude, or that damage is ridiculous. Oh my god, please Riot nerf. And you watch the video and they don't type that at all. And even when you watch the video, it's just nobody. They go like 8 and 2. It's not even
It's
that
not even
crazy.
something super duper significant.
Oh,
Like you still dying, bruh.
I'm telling you, it'd be like
Oh,
that.
don't get me started on League clickbait. I thought I had clickbait all figured out until I just wanted to learn League. And then I'm over here looking up, I'm like, why is every single
you
one
just
of
fucked up.
these videos like the most clickbait
You done
bullshit?
effed up. No, chat card. Man.
Facts.
I'm back. Now, before we go any further, let me do this.
Oh, we doing it, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, hold on.
This episode was brought to you by water.
I don't got no water.
Hold on.
Wait. My mug
It's not going.
is geeking. Hold on.
Why is it not up? There
Am I
you go.
here? Oh, I'm here now. There we go.
Yo, I'm trying.
Oh,
I like how he just chose to block his face with it too.
Facts.
Childish. Alright, we done.
Your water.
All right.
Hey, I see that hair. Hold up.
Aaron, get it off. Get it off.
Cut it off.
Oh, nasty. Don't cut it off. Alright. So, going directly from the what the
Whatever.
I heard a click clack. Somebody loaded
Oh,
a
that
pistol.
was me dropping the stylus.
Oh, you fool. Alright. So, going kind of hand to hand in metagame, let's talk about game balance.
And I thought we were supposed to talk about pro play.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Game
technically
ba- that's
all
that's
the
part of pro
same,
play.
yeah.
This is actually something that I was going to bring up like earlier. Was
Game balance?
Yeah,
I'm a-
because in the scheme of like competitive gaming, right? There are things for casual players that might get nerfed because a top player, like we see it all the time with League, like Azir got nerfed like twice. You don't see Azir in casual play or even in ranked, but he's getting nerfed specifically because of pro play.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
So let me open it up with this question. How do y'all feel about top-down balancing? And so let me explain top-down balancing here for a second. So this is what ties it all into pro play. So top-down balancing is like what Overwatch has been doing did for a long time, where they take pretty much only competitive games and nerf or buff characters around Not, I said I don't mean competitive because it has competitive like online. I mean specifically pro play.
Online.
And so where they nerf and buff characters specifically based on pro play, like not even like the competitive ladder is like they may make like a small change based on it, but everything else is based off of pro play. What do y'all think about that?
I hate it, but I also understand that it kind of has to be done that way. Because since we are low elo or low level, mid level scrubs, we're not even going to be able to abuse the top tier characters the way a challenger or a mid laner for a Chinese team or Japanese team or like we're not going to be able to abuse this top tier pick the same way these top tier players do. But if they mess around and buff, let's say they buff Panda to where Panda has some weird sidestep property in Tekken to where you can just pretty much step every single low possible, the Panda would instantly be broken in top level Tekken. Like you couldn't hit the character with lows. Like pros would straight abuse this character. So it's like I hate it because it makes it so characters that I personally like won't be as good for me and for me to master. But at the top level, they'll just become like one and done, dominate the scene. Like watching Worlds in freaking League this year, we saw, at least for the championships, there was almost no jungle diversity. Like it was Graves, Kindred, Nidalee.
Yeah.
And Graves basically ran the entire show.
With a smiggle of set.
With some set. But like, it ends up monopolizing it, right? And stuff like that. Like you have to do it that way also because for the pro scene, they may like it because they might hate it. Maybe, I don't know. Like, no, they like it because it's bounced around them. But at the same time, they may not agree with certain choices because one big thing about the Tekken community especially is there's a lot of players afraid to do well because they know that if their character does well, they're gonna get nerfed. Right? Panda was widely regarded as like a bottom 5 character. Panda won a TWT and Panda got nerfed.
True.
Can
Panda.
we talk about how controversial that is?
Yeah,
like,
man.
In a world where the meta's always the master. Like we're in a play the meta type world, right? If it ain't meta, it's not gonna be doing the best out of the other characters that you can play.
Facts.
And this person said, you know what? They don't know the matchup. I'm gonna go over here and play Panda and blow minds across this great nation of Islam and win Evo. Like, what? That's like it. I hate to keep using League of Legends as an example, but that's like going a full support team in the grand finals of Worlds and winning with like Ivern, Sona, Soraka, Tarek, Lulu. Like,
facts.
It's the equivalent of that, and nobody's gonna sit here and be like, "Oh, that team's about to smack." Like, nah, let's be like, "Oh, this is a wash." That like, there's no coming back from that. Like, once you do that, do you imagine, like you just said, Aaron, like the amount of nerfs, the amount of eyes that's gonna be on those champions because they wasn't supposed to win? Oh, incredible. Shout out to that Panda player. I don't know who they are. GG's.
Dang. What's his name?
What's the name? Shoot. It's something.
It's only one panda. Raichu.
Raichu. I knew it was like a Pokemon name.
That boy Raichu is cold. Doesn't play panda anymore.
Yeah.
Plays Julia.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Dang, he took his dub and then left the character. That's childish.
That's heat. Realest nigga
He
I ever met
said-
in my life.
That boy was like, "Hey man, look, I won Evo with this character. All right,
He said, "Ain't you that panda
done.
player?"
Dropping it.
Nope.
Not anymore. Who's Panda?
You mean that song by Design?
he'll still be the quote unquote best panda player probably for the longest until somebody else pick him up. But I mean, he can still whoop somebody's ass with that character. But
Shut
it's
up.
like with fucking me and Bruce. Like, I'm not Bruce, Brian. Like, we all know he's still a god tier with Brian. He just don't play him unless it's streaming.
Cause Brian's too hard.
Oh.
I mean, Brian
is difficult.
is a stressful character to play in a tournament-based playing field, but
To use that dude at maximum potential, it is difficult.
to be fair, he is the quote-unquote best player in the world, of one of the best players in the world. So I don't want to hear that shit.
Facts. You the best? No, ain't no character too hard, fam. Being lazy.
Facts.
That bitch-
That's not even gooning. That's just being honest.
Fact, cause what is it? Arslan Ash. This dude could not beat him. He couldn't beat him. Then Jimmy J Tran comes through playing the character that me, that Kobe, that Ro, that H are keep saying he needs to just play Brian. Guess what happens? Jimmy J Tran beats Arslan Ash in the first of two, not first of three, but still he beats Arslan Ash with guess who? Brian. What's your excuse, me? You play the game all day. Come on, dog. You got time to train.
I couldn't imagine, bro. Imagine the schedule.
Like, man, come on, man.
I can't play League for longer than maybe a few hours at a time.
Man, some people got to be able to do it. Some people just enjoy those. I mean, we see what League be doing to its streamers. We see that.
Bro, the funniest thing in the world. The funniest thing in the world. My favorite Twitch streamer for League is Tobias Faith. And that brother, when the stream starts, is one of the nicest folk. And then when it ends, it's just nothing but insults. Everybody's a cocksucker. Like,
Whoa.
like it's crazy, bro.
I don't know. I mean, that's just team games. And then, see, I've said this. I know we're going off topic. I'll bring it back at the end of this. But,
Segues.
you know, whenever I first started playing League, everyone was asking me, like, you know, which game is more toxic, Overwatch or League? And I'm like, it's League by like a country mile, dude. Like, I've been playing Overwatch since it dropped. Like, I have been playing because, I mean, Turtle can tell you, like, even when the beta was out, bro, I was on that shit hard.
Bro.
I missed classes to play the Overwatch betas.
Boy.
Straight up.
Me and my boy, I said, bro, the Overwatch beta's out. He said, what's that? It's clean in the game. Look at this. It's like, oh, that does look clean. Hold up. Let's go get that bug. We went and got that bug, came back, played all night.
Facts. Like, we went to GameStop, pre-ordered the game just to get the demo, and played until literally like 7 a.m. Like, it was. I've been playing that game for a long time. Then I get into League, and within like the first, I'd say like my first 100 games, I'm like, this game is ridiculously toxic.
Oh yeah.
Just because you're stuck in the game longer, and just the shit people do to like be petty, and just this like, you can't. The only thing you can do in Overwatch is like it's just feed, like, or go jump off the map, like. But you giving kills doesn't do anything. It doesn't make the opponent stronger, or they can leave. It doesn't make the opponent stronger or anything like that. But in like League, when people feed, they are actually making the game like ridiculously harder for you with each death. Like just because it's like now the enemy's getting stronger, and they have the man advantage. In Overwatch, you just have the man advantage. Typing in both games, people in Overwatch just don't do it as much.
They ain't got time. They ain't got time.
Yeah. The game's moving so fast, they don't have time. You can't just sit there and type. But yeah, either way. And so, but I'm gonna quickly bring it back to the topic we were doing, which is the top-down balancing thing. I think top-down balancing has actually ruined many a game for like a span of time. So you have like, again, I'm going to bring it back to Overwatch because it's like the most, obvious example. Every single buff that Reaper got, Reaper terrorizes low elo, like destroys it.
Bro.
And during the GOATS era, they buffed the shit out of Reaper because they were desperately trying to get a tank, like trying to get him up into pro play so that he could deal with the tanks. And you know what it did? Fuck the rest of us who were down in low elo because now we're just going around and shooting us in the back of the head because we're low elo niggas. Like he's a low elo destroyer. And so they buff him, try to get him into pro play, and now we all suffering. And so and that was like an entire. And then they did the same thing with May, and it just makes it worse for the majority to please the few. I understand. It's like Turtle said. I understand why top-down balancing is a thing, and to a certain degree, it should be. But it's like at the same time, you got to consider what you're doing for the majority of your player base. Which some companies do a better job than others of, balancing, and they're doing all that. That's why, why are we buffing Yasuo? Just saying. Why are we buffing? Why does he keep getting buffed?
Why are we buffing LeBlanc?
Thanks.
Why are we buffing buff Caitlyn?
Thanks.
Right. Why are we spamming buffing her? Yeah.
Unaware. We want to see her in pro play, head ass. Okay, cool.
She was already played.
And then there's also characters who you see in pro play. And really, I only see this problem in League. I don't see it much else, where you see a character in pro play, but you don't see it in normal play. I've seen that the most with League. With fighting games, you don't really see that.
Nope.
Because the lower you go, just the more, unless you have a character who is ridiculously OP, Leroy.
Yep.
Leroy when he dropped, Fakum Ram when he dropped, who literally top 8 was. I think there was top 8 of Evo Japan was 7 Leroys and 1
Julia.
something. 1 Julia. 7 Leroys, 1 Julia. That is literally the only game who is worse about having repeat characters in their top 8 is Mortal Kombat.
That sounds like what I think I brought this up before. In Tekken, it sounded like older Tekken. I think it was Tag 2, where it was literally teams of Mishimas. That's all you'd see is Kazuya and Heihachi or Kazuya and Jin, like that. You'd only see Mishimas in pro play in Tekken. I forgot which Tekken it was.
Tag 2.
Was it Tag 2?
I'm pretty sure it was Tag 2. That's where they, because in T4 they were horrible. Like they were slap horrible. In T5 they got better. T6 they were kind of stagnant. But in Tag 2, Mishima's topped the charts. Like most good teams had a Mishima on them. Whether if it was Jinpachi, whether it was Kazuya, Devil Jin, Heihachi, even Mishima styles, anybody who had like an uppercut that was like a Mishima, like Armor King's dark uppercut, basically Mishima style, Bob with the Mishima style wave dash, like characters that could do stuff like that were just so good because especially for pro play, it was about really utilizing the tag combo system so that you could get a swift whiff punish, tag out, drain some red life, do a combo, and almost kill him off of that one combo. Like it was absurd.
That's crazy.
And that game didn't have any balancing.
Facts. That is true.
Speaking of, let's move on to the segment at hand of new gen versus old gen.
Yep. Speaking of balancing.
Yep.
Speaking of balancing. Oh yeah, man. New gen versus old gen. I can start this off unless somebody else wants to do it.
Go for it.
Well, I'm gonna say something stupid real quick.
right.
I'm more of a fan of old gen, just because I liked his design better.
Oh my gosh! Shut up. Bro.
Oh.
Hey man, T4 gen was the shit. No, shut up.
Come on,
T4 gen was busted. Hold up.
the jacket.
I just need him to stop tucking in his jackets. That's all I need.
Facts.
What a weird concept.
My boy been tucking in his jackets for like 3 games.
I don't know why. I'm tucking the jacket.
Hey, hold on. Tekken 6
You
gen
wanna-
clean.
Anyway, moving on to the actual new gen versus old gen we're talking about. We're talking about new generation versus old generation of competitive players.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you who don't know, or not in the scene like that, Alex Valle, one of the most renowned fighting game players,
Mr. Street Fighter.
Mr. Street Fighter of like the old gen, and here we go, got Genshin Impact for you guys, and he also runs an arcade in California. I forget the name of it. Anyway, Wednesday Night Fights is always held there, but yeah, he said that basically new generation competitive players are, in other words, bitches. You didn't have to deal with this. If you did this in our tournaments, back in the day, then this would happen. Y'all a bunch of punks. Yeah, he went old head on he went real grandpa on the new generation of folk. Back in my day, head ass.
Back in my day.
And so new I think the problem with the new generation is that sometimes we put such an emphasis on online play, which in my opinion online play is never matters ever. Like I don't care who you beat online, it doesn't matter unless you win in like a first to 5 first to 10 with you two sitting right next to each other.
Facts.
On the same system, just because it's just there's too many variables.
That's true.
Like, bro, snake edges in Tekken.
Oh,
freaking you are online. Some of them hoes are literally unblockable. Like by the time you see it, it's too late.
Bro.
Especially because some of those are like I'm going to, in case y'all didn't know, I'm a frame data nerd. I am. Okay, I love frame data.
You got it.
Some of them hoes are like 22 frames, and human reaction time is from like 16 to 19 frames. So with lag online, that hoe is basically unseeable. Like, by the time you see it, your character is already in the tumble animation. You're like, fuck. And so, if you want to put like some real competitive basis on that type of thing, I think that's stupid. It should never happen. Which new generation would be like, oh, I beat X player online 1 game. Who gives a shit? Like, who cares? Can you beat this nigga in tournament? No, shut your dumb ass up. Like, you just. And I was gonna say I'm not saying tournament is the end all be all, but it actually is. just because that's the competitive environment. If you can beat them, if you beat them at a tournament, you see these all the time, like exhibitions. If you beat these guys in tournaments, or there's like an after whatever.
Them thug finals.
Huh? What'd you say? Thug finals?
Yep, them thug finals.
Yeah, the thug finals, or the death matches after. Where these people are being like, all right, first to 25, run that shit. Especially in games like Marvel, where you have the instant rematch. Like by the time, like from game ending to back in round start or game start is like 10 seconds. Like you can run a ridiculous amount of games. There's all kinds of death matches that happen there, but I think that's the problem with like the new generation of folk. And then of course, we got COVID and all that going right now, and a lot of that training. And right now, most of the tournaments are all online. So, in order for people to feel like, they're online mean shit, they're like, oh, well, I beat this online. I've been doing this. I'm top 8ing now. And it's like, okay, but you weren't doing anything when tournaments were, whenever, there weren't those variables.
Yeah.
That guy probably could have blocked that snake edge or could have seen that mix up because, my man literally didn't have the frames to react to it. And so he was in a guessing game. That's my majority problem. Then the other thing is patching. Like, I'm not saying that the old games are better for not being patched because, let's be real. Some of them old games are broken as shit. Like, ridiculously broken. But the problem, not the problem, the good thing, but also the bad thing was that was the game. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. There's no hope. And so, since there was no hope, you became complacent with it. You became complacent with it, and you're like, okay, I either need to find a way around this, I need to accept it, and either find a way around it, or play the character. and that was it. That's all you could do. But now, we can cry and whine and bitch and moan until we get a nerf.
Yep.
Or a buff. And there's no
League of Legends community.
There you go. We can do that until we get a nerf or a buff, and then but the problem is we just go and find the next thing. We're like, oh, okay, that's cool, but what about this? Okay, that's cool, but what about this? Okay, that's cool, but I still can't beat this character. I need more. So it becomes like this endless vortex of just buffing and nerfing, and no one I'm about to do Aaron voice right here. No one learning the matchup. Aaron voice.
Nasty.
Learn the goddamn Akuma matchup. Aaron voice.
Oh, super facts. Scrubs.
So that's where my main problem between like old gen and new gen. I saw this a lot with BB Tag, because just when we were starting to accept that BB Tag was going to be what it was going to be, they're like, oh, here's BB Tag 2.0, which fucked the entire game. And not that it made it terrible, but it was like we were just starting to accept the fact that certain characters were just going to be strong.
Gorby
was going to be strong, and we were starting to find ways around that. Like Gorby wasn't even winning everything anymore.
Was Gorby even
actually?
I'm back. I was gonna ask, was Gorby even really winning like that? Because I
know
they ran top 8 for the most part, but I do remember seeing them not winning all the time. They were like all these grand finals, like Gorby versus this other team, but sometimes this other team won quite a bit actually.
Yeah, and that was mostly towards because Gorby was running everything at the beginning. Like the team was just dumb.
Oh yeah,
they just had everything, and then they started nerfing some system mechanics that just worked, that just made the team comp ridiculous. So once they did that, then people were still calling for Gorby nerfs, but they're like, okay, well now it's a little bit more manageable. You can start finding ways around it. You can find ways to abuse it with other teams. Because the problem with Gorby was that the game just played in their favor too much. Like it was just it was essentially like the game was built around them, and so they were just every mechanic that was in the game, they just used it the best. That was the problem. So once they nerfed some of those system mechanics, then other teams were able to start coming in, and then close to the end, people are figuring out Gorby, and they're learning the matchup. Aaron voice.
Got him. That Ninja Gordo was so daggum good at locking down people, man.
Oh, facts, yeah, man. Grim Reaper. Oh well, hold this mix up.
Facts, dude. Let me just switch and command grab you real quick.
Facts. But that's where my main issues arise between new gen, old gen. All right, now I'm gonna be quiet now because I just ran the discussion for like 30 minutes.
Hey, all good. Actually, it was more like 10. Actually, it was exactly 10.
Oh, there you go.
What you think? 8.
Yeah. I mean, I can't think of nothing else for the most part, but yeah, that sounds about right for the most part when it comes down to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I agree with it 100%.
Yeah, old gen, new gen. There's how do I say it? There is a fine line between a character actually needing nerfs and people just needing to grind it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the hard part as a game dev, like, there's pressure on you, right? Because some people will just get so mad that they just stop playing the game and you start losing gamers just because a character hasn't been nerfed, because people don't want to put the work in to learning the matchup, and you end up in that same situation like all the time. It's just like, is this character really that powerful, or people just not playing the matchup correctly? Like, I argue all the time that I don't see people play the Akuma matchup correctly or solidly for the most part. I've seen a couple instances where it was played right, but for the most part, nobody really knows how to fight against Akuma. Nobody actively practices fighting against Akuma. There was one instance where people actively practiced against Akuma, and that was 2019 of TWT. Because not one Akuma main made it out of pools. They all drowned. So that proves that Akuma was never really that broken, right? Like, you can beat the character. Like, you can definitely beat the character. But a lot of the issue comes from, I think, when people like Main Man, no offense to the dude, he's pretty hilarious streamer still. But when people like him say stuff like try to counter your counterplay, right? Saying stuff like, well, I have to know you're going to do that to use this option as counterplay. It's like, well, isn't that literally every character ever? It's like, oh, King's grabs can kill you. You can duck his grabs. Well, I have to know he's gonna grab to duck him, or I have to know which grab he's gonna use to break him. Aight, shut up. Like, it becomes like, it literally becomes everything ever, right? For the most part. But even stuff like maybe Overwatch, like learning what the character can do, learning what this hero can do, and knowing when to switch to who and how quickly you switch, like best example actually, freaking Torbjorn, right? Torbjorn is a problem in the lower ranks for sure.
Time to roll up my sleeves.
To most other people, he's easy to deal with if you switch to the counters quickly, right? You grab you a Widow, grab you a Hanzo, snipe that turret out, and just keep sniping them down.
Can't stand a Widow.
Or you could even use Pharah for in some cases and hit some long distance AOE rockets. You can even sometimes use freaking what's his name, Roadhog, and just hook him from behind the turret, kill him, and then kill the turret. Like, there are answers, but you have to make usage of it. You have to really get your feet wet in the game, right? And I kind of understand Alex Valle and why he got so upset. It's like, you guys just need to get with it and grind it out, because we didn't have the option to just get a character nerfed, right? Like, y'all wouldn't have lasted. Like, I understand that. And he also says some stuff about like how like new gens have it so easy nowadays because all the info's with us or so readily available, and that the old gens weren't able to get that type of info at their fingertips, you know, because internet. And one pretty good argument against it, and I kind of agree with this too, is like, just because more people have information doesn't mean it's easier, right? Because if more people have information, doesn't that technically mean it's harder to compete at that level? Like, you may be able to, like, more people are going to be able to fight you at that level of play, right? It's like watching a pro guides video for League. They'll tell you low elo players are bad. Like, you may be right, but what's stopping these other low elo players watching the same video as me? Right? Yeah. So there's a good chance that I'm gonna go up against somebody that has literally watched the exact same video with the exact same information and just playing a better character, right? Yeah. So you end up with the same problem. It's just a different exchange of information, you know? So as far as like pro play goes, it just, you know, it's a huge can of worms. Like, I don't think it's fair to say it was easier or harder for either side, right? It's just, I think it's like the same. Like, it's equal. Well, not the same. It's equal, but in a different way, right? Mm-hmm. Like, old gens will talk about how they had to get good by putting them coins in, right? It forced them to get good, or you were just wasting money, right? Yeah. That's fair, right? Because there's putting more pressure on you. But even just going to a tournament in general, right? Not everybody just goes to a tournament to lose, right? They want to win, and it's frustrating to lose, right? At these tournaments, you're paying, especially these, even a regional, right? You pay like $20-$30 to enter a tournament and go 0-2. Yeah, that's frustrating. like that downright just pisses me off, you know. I mean, thank the Lord that I've never ever actually had the experience of ever going 0-2 in any Smash tournament ever. Like, that's a blessing in and of itself. I don't know that feeling. In no game ever have I gone 0-2, which is awesome. I'm very proud of that. But, you know, like, it's just really an awkward situation, you know. It's not really something you can argue about, I don't think. Like, it wouldn't be fair to argue it, right? Like, sure, we do whine a lot about this character needs a nerf because they're super strong, right? But a lot of the times it's just saying, you know, a lot of times people are just BSing, but other people take that as law. You know, and that's I think that's where the issue comes in. Like, when all these unknowledgeable casuals inflict their opinion with, or not inflict, what's the word? Apply their opinion with the pro player that said something, then it changes the metagame for the pro scene, and then some new character ends up becoming dominant because their one counterpick just got nerfed, now they're the best character in the game. Mm-hmm. So it just ends up creating rifts. So in a lot of cases, balancing like that doesn't change much. But I could talk about one game that people call themselves still finding new stuff for, that goes by the name of Super Smash Bros. Melee, that people claim, oh, this new Marth player is really showing how good Marth is, right? Marth might actually be top tier compared to the same other 2 or 3 characters that have been debated around top tier. They're all strong. Like, it's like, oh my god, Hungrybox is winning everything with Jigglypuff. I told y'all Jigglypuff was the best character in the game. Yeah, it only took him, 10 years?
Facts.
Come on now. That's a bit too long. Yeah. Sounds like this character actually needed a nerf. If it takes me 10 years to figure out this matchup against these other characters, then somebody needs a nerf. Like, it shouldn't take that long. Sure, you could figure out the matchup, but if it takes that long,
Yeah.
right? And it's just a big can of worms trying to balance stuff for pro play, you know, because you want to make sure, like, as a designer, as a creator, your primary goal, you want to make sure all of your characters get seen at least once. You want your characters to be played, obviously, because you're proud of them. But if, like, one or two characters specifically just never get played, then you're gonna go out of your way to try to make it so they can nerf their counters, nerf the characters that are better at doing what they do than them, and then you hope is, hey, if I buff this character a little bit and nerf these characters a little bit, maybe people will start playing them. Nope, they're still bad. This character's just the new, better version of that character you just nerfed. And so it ends up just not changing anything. Right? Old gen or new gen, like, just because you had to deal with it doesn't mean it wasn't still BS. Right?
Sure. I'm on that.
Just because you couldn't nerf Ken or Chun-Li or Yun in Third Strike doesn't mean they weren't broken.
Yeah?
Right? Look at Street Fighter 4. Would you rather have still played vanilla Street Fighter 4 where Sagat was just top-down broken as all hell?
You mean Sagat was basically the bathroom mirror? You took that hoe and put a sledgehammer through it because he was that broken?
Yes, bro. Him and let me just zone the crap out of you. My damage is absurd. Like, come on, man. Like, their balances need to happen. Now, should they happen that often in the interest of pro play? No, because I especially didn't like that Akuma got that meter nerf like a month or so. I don't even know if it's a month. It was a little bit before TWT. So Akuma players had to readjust to that bar nerf, to their options, what they're used to using off the top of their head. So I do think that's a bit unfair. Now, a yearly patch is fine, unless it's something drastic that needs to be changed immediately, right? Like Fakum Ram, like Leroy. Like, you'll know when it's that bad, right? But you shouldn't need to just nerf characters so immediately, right? You don't have to nerf a character just because they're winning, right? Just because somebody decides to put the work in with a character, you don't need to nerf them. Right?
Talia.
Nasty.
Sorry. Something.
I hate this man.
I think that's like, bro, the scariest thing for me in Smash Ultimate was when Roy won a tournament, and I should have been the happiest man alive because my character, it took 2 games, it took Smash 4 and Ultimate for him to win a tournament, and I was terrified because I'm like, fuck, now he's gonna get nerfed.
Facts.
Like, just because he won the tournament, because somebody put in the time. And actually, this person only picked him as a counter pick. Wasn't even like, yeah, it wasn't even like he played him the entire tournament. Just picked him as a counter pick. And I'm like, well, shit. Now he's in the spotlight. Now he's gonna get nerfed. Now people are gonna cry. He's the new favorite of the month. And so it's like, bruh, like, I think I'm so tired of the fighting game. Nerf this character just because they won. Actually, it's not even just exclusive to fighting games. It's just like, I'm tired of it in every game. Oh, this team was on the this character was picked, like, the champion was picked like twice in like top 8 or worlds, whatever, the top the top of the game. Nerf them. They're too strong. It's like, dude, like, just look at your characters. Hence why I keep telling, hence why I keep saying for all these game devs, stop adding 50 fucking characters to their game so they can actually balance that hoe.
Facts, bro. That's a huge problem.
I had that whole discussion during the tech. During the tech,
smaller roster. Smaller roster. It makes sense. A lot of players do want a smaller roster. Casual players want bigger rosters, but competitive players, they want that tinier roster, man. Like, it's not even an opinion at that point. It's just a fact that it's easier to balance a fighting game or any game with less characters. League has the glaring problem of having 140 plus champions. How the fudge are you expect to balance that evenly at all? Ever? Like, abilities are going to overlap. Characters are gonna just straight up be better than others because some characters have somebody's whole kit as a passive. And then freaking like, god dang.
I'm sorry.
It's just facts, bro.
In the whole kit in their passive. I'm looking at you, Yasuo. With your goddamn paragraph. Your name with your paragraph. So Mira with your whole 25-page dissertation that I used to get into college.
Man. And then you got these same chips like they have that literally just do the same thing. So it's like, what's the point of banning these ninjas, especially in League? It's like, oh, I banned Yasuo, bet I'm gonna play Yone. What's the point then?
Well, I mean, I know that in League, like Riot has actually said that that is a design choice. So for them, it's okay.
No, it ain't okay. It was stupid enough to put the same champ. They put a.
I mean, yeah, but they use it as a design choice. So it's like, oh, if this gets banned, you can still, kind of go for this strategy where it's, completely redundant and ridiculous. For me, I mean, it's already you've heard me talk about this to the ends of the earth is in Smash stage selection.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, I get 2 bans. Okay, cool. I'm playing this character who doesn't want to play on who wants to avoid playing on a stage that is this big by any means necessary. But for some reason, there's 3 choices. So it's like I ban 2, they go to the one that's left. I'm like, what the fuck?
Facts.
I changed nothing. So
You're a sense of redundancy, bruh. And even with the Yasuo situation, Yasuo is like, at the time he was top 3 most banned champions in the game. Top 3. So your bright idea is, let's make another one, huh? Stupid?
Well, I had to make him eventually,
He could be different.
Yeah, I mean, you right.
That basically the same daggum character, if not easier and more annoying.
Let's talk about Darius, who has been the OP pick for like the entire season in the top lane.
Oh,
but
perfect.
Isn't played in pro play, so
bro, he's
just allowed to live.
The literal perfect example of pro metagame versus rank solo queue metagame or casual metagame, right? Casual metagame, Darius is the most broken thing since a freaking bad kid ran up in the house and broke everything.
Huh.
But he's allowed to live because he's not used in pro play.
Never gonna get nerfed. He might get buffed.
Shoot,
low
low
key. We want to see
key.
Darius in pro play, so we're giving his Q an extra 120,000% heal.
When they do see him, they see him not perform as well or something.
Let me get the one Darius pick in pro play and get slapped.
They're like, oh, people aren't playing Fiora in pro play, buff.
They're playing it now.
That's
Still wasn't doing
passionately gonna piss off folks. That champ is literally true damage.
Like it's actually crazy, man.
That is true.
Buff Poppy 2020.
Hell no. Alright,
she
jump
don't
on the bit.
She don't need a buff. Niggas just need to not be ignorant, strong. I don't need to. I gotta work too hard to play as Poppy versus somebody who has just infinite dashes or bleed out or execute or like.
But you won't see her in pro play.
Oh man, I got pissed off. I saw I saw a pro play game where it was a Renekton, and I was like, why you just don't play Poppy? Like, you beat that. No, you know what he went? Orin.
Uh-huh.
For the
was
team
like,
fight. For the team
And,
fight.
and for them late game upgrades.
It is so crazy, bro.
I said, all right.
I'd be so excited.
And they lost because of that, too.
Uh-huh.
I forgot what team it was.
I'd be so excited to see my champs in
So
pro play,
excited.
and then I have to look and be like, wait, he did good, really good. God dang it. So now I have to worry about my character being nerfed again, but because of pro play, man. But I guess that's just how it works.
Oh
That's
yeah,
how it goes.
my boy Set got nerfed just because of bad play.
Facts.
I mean, don't get me wrong, brother was strong, OP when he came out. Like, ain't nobody gonna sit here and say he wasn't.
Oh yeah,
like-
W half health your whole team.
Oh yeah, back when you could build Black Cleaver and his W is about 40% of his max health already. So he was already doing about 600 true damage to you. Like,
Total damage of
Ridiculous.
this.
but all them Q nerfs, W nerfs, then then passive nerfs, then E cooldown nerf, then another W nerf, then another W nerf, and then another W nerf. Okay,
And guess where he's still being seen? Pro play.
pro play.
Can't stop the set.
Yeah.
He's too good at setting up. But
And that's all he's used for, bro. That's all he's used for. Is ults.
uh-huh. Okay.
I'ma drown.
You might.
I'm gonna make it to that island. Oh God. Please. Only got a little stamina left.
Well,
Let's see if Tank makes it.
I'm not gonna make
you're
it. man.
dead, brother.
I'm not gonna fucking make it. I'm right.
Bro, just put your leg.
That's a good cue to end it, ain't it?
Look off into the scenery for us, Tank.
Actually, you know what?
What the? Wow.
Awesome.
That's that. Okasa. Okasa. Machiro Kurose.
Oh, Oni-san, looking mother.
Oni-chan.
Oni-chan. Oni-chan. Daisuke deyo. Hit it. Alright. It's time to put this to an end. This topic was pretty interesting, I think. I hope y'all enjoyed this mug, you feel me? Any words? Any final words from my technicians?
Not really.
Dang, alright, what's up to me again? Okay. Let me tell you something. I want you all to know. A little something happened today. Apparently, a lot of the votes for drive-through and that were done in the drive-through didn't count. So a lot of the people who voted doing the drive-through method and going through the whole tent situation to then and they're keying their vote that way. Over 100,000 votes didn't count. So that's happened. Just live, bruh. Stay in. I wouldn't say stay in school, but school's
I stopped
fun.
that already.
Oh.
Just kidding.
School's fun.
No, it's not.
Just chill out, bruh. Like, don't be an asshole. Like, it's not worth in the long run. You know, just play Genshin Impact. It's free. Be a little elf girl.
Oh yeah? How much money have you spent on that?
Over $8,000.
But how much have you actually spent on it?
Maybe about like $200.
What the? Alright, I'm cutting this bit off. Good day, everybody.